Tomal was a young human man who worked at a small repair station on the edge of Euro 5. It was not a special place. The ground was rocky, the sky was always purple, and the air carried the scent of warm metal. But for Tomal, this quiet planet was home. He liked fixing things. He liked solving problems without talking too much. The work kept him busy, and the stars above gave him peace. One morning, while Tomal was cleaning tools, a loud sound filled the sky. A silver ship came down fast and shaky. The engine sputtered as it landed, and steam poured out from the sides. He saw the symbol of the Zenari on its side. They were one of the proudest alien races in the galaxy. Tall, sharp-faced, and known for their deep sense of honor. The ship's door opened fast. A tall alien girl walked out with quick steps. She wore a dark blue uniform and carried a long data pad. Her eyes were sharp, her movements exact. She looked like a person who did not waste time. "Who's in charge here?" she asked without greeting. Tomal stood up and wiped his hands on his vest. "I do the repairs here," he said simply. She looked him up and down. Her eyes stopped at the tools on his belt. "My ship needs a new power balance module, and the translator cord is unstable," she said. "Can you fix it?" "I can try," Tomal said. Calm and steady. "I don't want try," she said. "I want it done." Quickly, Tomal nodded and walked toward the ship. He didn't ask her name. She didn't offer it. He climbed into the engine bay and began scanning the damage. The inside of the ship was different from others he had worked on. It had new wires, strange symbols, and some tech he had not seen before. But that didn't bother him. He liked puzzles while he worked. The alien girl stood near the door, arms crossed. She watched him for a long time. Tomal didn't speak much. He just focused on the circuits and the lines of code on his small screen. After half an hour, he spoke without turning his head. "Your core is not just unstable. Someone placed a hidden signal inside. It's sending data somewhere." She stepped forward quickly. "What kind of signal?" "I'm not sure yet. I've seen it before, but it changes every time." "You've seen it before?" she asked, eyes narrowing. Where Tomal looked up, his voice was quiet. "3 other ships, all different, all broken in the same way." The girl said nothing for a moment, then she shook her head. "That's not possible. Zenari tech is secured. No one can enter it." "I didn't enter it. I just listened," Tomal said. She stared at him for a long time. Then she walked away and sat on a stone near the landing pad. She looked at the sky, then at her data pad, then back at Tomal. Her name was Laurie, but she still had not told him that. Tomal kept working. He didn't rush. He checked the signal, traced its origin, and saved the data. He didn't speak again until evening, when the purple sky turned dark blue and stars began to show. "You can fly again tomorrow. But I need to check one more thing," he said. "What thing?" she asked. "I need to test the data line between the power module and your ship's brain core." "I don't like people touching the core," Laurie said. "Then I won't touch it. I'll connect from outside," Tomal replied. She didn't like the answer, but she said nothing. That night, after the stars came out, Tomal stayed in his workshop. He sat near a small screen and pulled out a black wire from under his vest. The wire had strange patterns on it. He connected it to his small device and opened the saved signal. He ran it through a translator, then another, then a code breaker. The signal was not just noise. It was a pattern, like a fingerprint. Someone was leaving a message inside the broken system's dot. Just then, Laurie walked past the window and stopped. She saw him leaning over a glowing screen, the black wire in his hand. She narrowed her eyes. Quietly, she moved closer and watched through. A small crack in the door. Tamel touched the wire to his vest again and leaned back. He closed his eyes for a second. The screen changed. It showed a shape like a map, with dots that blinked in a slow rhythm. Laurie stepped back and frowned. The next morning, she met him at the landing pad again. She didn't speak about what she saw. "Is the ship ready?" she asked. "Yes," Tomal replied. "But you should see something first." He handed her a small square chip. "This is your ship's last signal. Compare it with your database. It doesn't match your tech. Something else is using your system." Laurie took the chip but didn't look at it. "You speak like you know more than a repairman," she said. Tomal just gave a small shrug. I fixed what's broken. That includes signals. Laurie felt unsure. She didn't know if she could trust him. But there was something honest in the way he talked. No extra words, no big promises, just facts. Why are you doing this? She asked. Because someone is. Hiding something. And no one is looking, Tomal said. For a moment, Laurie stood in silence. Then she turned and walked back toward her ship. But something in her mind was beginning to change. She was not sure what, not yet. The next day began with a soft wind blowing over the rocky fields of Euro 5. The stars were fading, and a soft orange light appeared at the horizon. Tomal was already awake, sitting on a crate outside his repair station, sipping warm tea made from local herbs. He had not slept much. The strange signal from the Zinari ship still circled in his mind. He looked down at the small square device in his hand. It blinked slowly, as if waiting for something. He had added a new signal filter to it during the night. It was now more sensitive. If the hidden signal showed up again, this time he would catch more of it. A sudden voice broke the silence. You are up early. It was Laurie. She walked toward him, holding her data pad in one hand and the thin silver tool in the other. Her eyes looked tired. Maybe she had also not slept well. Tomal stood up and nodded. I needed time to test the new readings, he said. I stopped a few steps away and stared at him. I checked the chip you gave me. You were right. That signal doesn't belong to my ship or any Zinari system. Tomal's expression stayed calm. I've seen that pattern before. It changes slightly each time, but the core is the same. Someone is planting it on purpose. Laurie frowned. But who would do that, and why? Tomal looked at the sky for a moment. Then he spoke slowly. I think someone is trying to cause confusion. If enough ships break down in flight or in battle, no one will trust each other. Trade stops. Peace weakens. Fights begin. Laurie looked at her data pad. The thought made her uneasy. Her people had worked hard to keep peace with other species. But something about this signal made her feel that peace was being tested. I need to report this to my command, she said. Not yet, Tomal replied. Why not? She asked, raising her voice a little. If someone inside your system is part of this, your report will be deleted, or worse, they may come after you. Laurie went silent. She had always trusted her command, but Tomal's words made her doubt, even if just a little. Then what do you suggest? She asked. Tomal picked up his small device and pressed a button. A simple round map appeared in the air. It showed several blinking dots. These are the places where I found the same signal. 3 Zinari ships, 1 Kaleri cargo ship, and now yours. All passed through the same trade zone before the signal appeared. Laurie stared at the map. The trade zone was near the edge of neutral space. It was an old refueling point, mostly run by machines and a few small companies. Nothing special. That zone hasn't had trouble in years, she said. Tomal nodded. That's why it's perfect. No one checks it closely anymore. Laurie thought for a moment. We need proof. Solid proof, Tomal agreed. I will link your ship's power module to my signal tracker. It won't change anything inside. It will just copy the signal path if it appears again. Laurie hesitated, then gave a slow nod. Fine. But I will watch every step you take near my ship. Tomal gave a small smile. That's fair. They walked back to the ship together. The engines were quiet now, and the side panel was still open from yesterday. Tomal began working, carefully placing a thin copper wire from the ship's core to his device. Laurie stood beside him, arms crossed, eyes sharped out as he worked. He spoke without looking at her. You are different from the other Zinari I've met. Most don't talk to humans much. I don't talk to most humans either, Laurie replied. Tomal gave a soft laugh. Well, that makes 2 of us. Laurie didn't smile, but her posture relaxed just a little. After an hour, the setup was complete. Tomal stepped back and showed her the small blinking light on his device. If the signal appears again, this will catch it. We can compare it with the others and look for the source. Laurie looked at it with interest. How does it connect to you? Tomal paused for a moment. It's linked to me in a simple way. Let's just say it works better when it stays close to me. She raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Before they could say more, a soft beep came from Laurie's data pad. A message. She looked at it quickly and frowned. It's from my command. They are asking for a progress report. Will you tell them? Tomal asked. She stared at the screen for a moment. No, not yet. I need more than guesswork. Tomal nodded. Double quotes good. Because I think we are close to something real. Something big. Laurie looked around. The quiet of Euro 5 felt different now. Not peaceful. More like a calm before something unknown. As the two stood beside the ship, a small shadow passed overhead. A silent drone, high in the sky, moved quickly across the stars and disappeared. Neither of them noticed it. Back in his workshop, Tomal placed the new data into his recorder. The patterns were growing. Someone, somewhere, was watching all of this. But Tomal had one rule. Never run. Always stay until the truth is clear. And now, for the first time, someone else was standing beside him. The sky over Euro 5 remained calm, but the air now felt heavier. The silence between Tomal and Laurie was not cold. It was filled with thought. Each of them had questions, but neither spoke them aloud. Tomal sat in his small workshop. He watched the signal lines scroll across his screen. They moved like waves. No sharp edges, no sudden breaks. Just smooth, slow changes. He had seen this before, but something was different this time. The signal had grown more complex. It was learning. He saved the data and turned to a second device. It was small, black, and shaped like a stone. He pressed one side and it lit up. The device showed a soft image, like a drawing made of light. It was the pattern inside the signal. But now, Tomal noticed something strange. There were shapes inside the wave. Not just code. They looked like symbols. Laurie entered the workshop and saw the floating image. She paused at the door. What is that? She asked. Mel pointed at the shapes. This is what's inside the signal. I cleaned the noise and found these symbols. Laurie stepped closer. She looked at the shapes carefully. Her face slowly changed. Her eyes opened wider. These symbols are ancient Zenari. Very old. Not used anymore. Tomal looked at her. You understand them? She nodded slowly. Only a little. They are used in old war messages. From before the Great Treaty. Tomal stood still. His mind connected to thoughts, ancient war signals, and modern tech sabotage. The pattern made more sense now. Can you read any of it? He asked. Laurie leaned closer. One symbol means silence. Another means break. This one means inside. Tomal took a deep breath. Then the message is not just a virus. It's a warning. Or maybe a command. Laurie looked worried. Someone is sending war-era signals into modern ships. But for what purpose? Tomal turned off the device. That's what we need to find out. They sat down together and looked over the data again. Laurie typed on her pad, searching her people's historical records. Tomal compared the shapes with old tech files. Slowly, a pattern began to form. It's not just one message, Laurie said. Each version of the signal is part of a larger code, a layered message. Someone is building it ship by ship. Tomal nodded. They are spreading it like dust, quiet and slow, waiting until the full message is complete. Laurie frowned. And when it is complete, then what happens? Tomal looked serious. Maybe it triggers something. Maybe it wakes something up. Just then, a soft beep came from the signal. Tracker. Tomal grabbed it quickly. A new wave had been detected. The same signal, but this one was stronger. It had come from a nearby orbit. He showed it to Laurie. This one is fresh, just a few minutes ago, and it's stronger than the others, maybe. Even the source. Laurie looked at the map on the screen. It showed a point just above the planet, hidden behind one of Euro 5's moons. That zone is empty. No stations, no ships. Tomal narrowed his eyes. Or maybe something is there, but hidden. Laurie stood. Then we should go see it. If we wait too long, it might disappear. Tomal agreed. I'll prepare the tracker. It can scan from inside your ship. Now they walked to the ship together. Laurie helped Tomal set the tracker near the main window panel. The system was silent but active. It blinked every few seconds. As they lifted off, Tomal looked at the screen again. This device is built to follow patterns. It will lead us to the signal center. Laurie flew the ship steadily. Her hands were strong on the controls. Tomal watched her with quiet respect. She didn't speak much, but her actions were always clear. As they passed above the moon, The tracker blinked faster. A large structure came into view. It floated just beyond the dark side of the moon. It was covered in metal plates, shaped like an old satellite, but its core glowed faint red. Laurie stared at it. That's not a normal satellite. Tomal scanned it. No ID. No signal code. It's running silent, but it's the source. That thing is sending the message. Laurie flew closer. Should we contact the council? Tomal shook his head. Not yet. We need proof of what it's doing. If we leave now, they may shut it down or move it before we return. Laurie agreed. She circled the satellite carefully. It didn't move or react. Tomal stared at it. This tech is old, but someone has upgraded it. Laurie tapped her pad. I'm going to open a passive scan. Maybe it will reveal more inside. As the scan began, the ship's lights flickered once. Then everything returned to normal. Tomal watched the tracker. A sudden spike appeared on the screen. A new part of the signal had activated. It was stronger than before. Tomal looked at Laurie. It knows we're here. Laurie stared at the satellite. Then we don't have much time. They save all the signal data and move away slowly. No sudden moves. The satellite did not follow or respond, but Tomal felt something had changed. The message was growing. The signal had awakened a new layer. When they returned to Euro 5, night had fallen. The stars were brighter than usual, or maybe it just felt that way. Inside the workshop, Tomal and Laurie looked at the new signal together. More shapes had appeared. This time, Laurie could read more of them. The words are clear now. Open the gate, light the core, break the sky. Tomal whispered the words after her. It's not just a message. It's a plan, and now they were part of it. The next morning, the air on Euro 5 felt tense. The winds were quiet, but the ground seemed to still. Tomal sat near his workshop, looking at the strange symbols on his small device. The words from the signal still echoed in his mind. Open the gate, light the core, break the sky. He had no answers yet, only questions. Laurie walked toward him with her pad in hand. She looked serious. Her eyes held a sharp edge. I spoke to one of my trusted officers, she said. I told her only part of what we found. I didn't mention the satellite. Tomal looked up. Did she believe you? She said she would look into it quietly, but I saw doubt in her face. Laurie replied, I think she will report it anyway. Tomal stood up. Then we need to move fast. If command learns about the satellite before we finish understanding the message, they might destroy it, and we'll lose everything. Laurie frowned. Maybe they should destroy it. Maybe it's too dangerous. Tomal shook his head, not without knowing what it's for. We don't know what will happen if the message finishes, or what happens if we stop it halfway. Laurie walked a few steps away and stared at the sky. I was trained to follow orders, not to chase old signals with humans I barely know. Tomal stayed quiet for a moment. Then he said softly, You're here now. That means something. Laurie turned to face him. Her voice grew sharp. I don't even know who you really are. You fix ships, but you carry tech I've never seen. You track signals like a spy. You say you want peace, but you hide things from me. Tomal looked calm, but his hands were tight at his sides. I'm not a spy. I was part of an old human peace team, long ago, before the council was formed. My job was to listen, to study signals, to understand what machines were saying between species. Laurie raised her voice. That program was shut down. They said it failed. Tomal nodded. It did. The leaders didn't want humans listening anymore. They said we should stay out of alien systems. But I didn't stop. I kept listening, quietly. I started finding things others missed, patterns, warnings. Laurie stepped closer. And you expect me to believe all this while you wear that strange vest, carrying tools that even Zenari scientists don't have? Tomal stayed silent. He didn't explain more. That silence made Laurie angry. She grabbed his vest and pulled it, roughly. Then show me what you're hiding, she said, her voice full of frustration. With one quick motion, she tore open his vest. But what she saw made her freeze. Beneath the vest, Tomal wore a thin device wrapped around his chest. It was smooth and gray, with soft lights that blinked gently. The lines of the device ran into his skin, as if it was part of him. But it didn't look like a weapon. It looked like something else, Tomel didn't move. He let her look. This is called a pulse link, he said. It's a translation core, not just for language. It reads emotion, energy, intention. It helps me hear signals others miss. I didn't tell you because most people fear it. Laurie stepped back slowly. Her face showed surprise, not fear. You connected your body to tech, she said quietly. Tomel nodded. To understand better, to feel what machines feel. It's not perfect, but it helps. Laurie stared at him for a long time. Then she looked down at her own hands. I thought you were hiding something dangerous, she said. I'm hiding nothing. Only truth that others don't want to see, Tomel replied. Laurie walked to a nearby rock and sat down. The wind picked up slightly. Dust moved across the ground. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Laurie looked up. You risked everything to keep listening. Why? Tomel sat beside her. His voice was soft. Because I believe peace is made by those who understand, not by those who control. I saw war in the early years. I saw how fast it started, how easy it was to blame others. That's why I kept listening. Because someone had to. Laurie looked at the ground. And now this message is spreading. And the satellite is still out there. Tomel nodded. Yes, and I believe we are getting close to understanding its full meaning. Laurie stood. Then we need to go back. Before anyone finds it first. Tomel smiled slightly. Now you sound like someone who listens to. They pack supplies quickly and recheck the signal tracker. The new part of the message had added more symbols. It now spoke of a gate that must not be opened unless all pieces were gathered. A warning hidden inside a command. Tomel pointed at the last line. This part worries me. If opened too early, the light will turn dark. Laurie read the line twice. Then we must open it at the right time, or not at all. As they prepared to launch, another beep came from the ship's alert system. A vessel was approaching. It was Zenari. Laurie looked at the ID tag. It's from my command. They're coming here. Tomel's eyes narrowed. Then they read your message. They know something's wrong. Laurie quickly activated the ship's stealth mode. It was limited, but enough to block short scans. We leave now. If they see us heading toward the satellite, they'll know we found it. Tomel sat in the co-pilot seat. Then let's stay ahead of them. We still have time. The ship rose into the sky, smooth and fast. The stars above were waiting, and somewhere beyond the moon, the truth was still hidden. But now, Tomel wasn't alone. Laurie had torn open his vest to see the truth, and the truth had changed her. The ship moved quietly through space, away from Euro 5 and toward the dark side of the moon. Laurie sat in the pilot's seat, focused and steady. Tomel sat beside her, watching the signal tracker. The satellite was still there, silent but active. The blinking light on Tomel's screen grew stronger with each second. Neither of them spoke for a while. The moment from before, when Laurie had pulled open his vest, still hung in the air. But now, there was no anger between them, only understanding. Laurie looked over at Tomel. That device in your chest, it connects to the signal. Tomel nodded. Yes, it does more than track the signal. It responds to it. That's how I found the patterns. I could feel the change inside me every time a new signal appeared. Laurie thought for a moment. Is it safe? Tomel gave a small smile. It's not harmful, but it takes energy. That's why I rest more than most people. I feel things others don't. Not just with my mind, but inside my body. Laurie nodded. And all this time, you carried it alone. Tomel looked out at the stars. It wasn't easy, but I couldn't let it go. The more I listened, the more I knew something was coming. The tracker blinked fast. They were close. The satellite came into view. It floated silently, hidden in the darkness. Its body was shaped like an old tower, made of black and silver parts. In the center, a soft red light glowed. Not bright, just enough to be seen. Tomel stared at it. It's awake. That glow wasn't there last time. Laurie slowed the ship and brought it to a stop a safe distance away. Should we scan it again? Tomel shook his head. I think it will respond to me. The last message spoke of a final piece. I believe the signal is waiting for one more part. Laurie frowned. And that part is inside you. Tomel nodded. Yes, I didn't know it before, but now I feel it. The device in my chest is not just a reader. It's the last key. Laurie stood up. You're not going out there alone. I'll come with you. Tomo looked at her. If something happens, you must leave. Take the signal records. Show the council. Even if they don't believe you at first. Laurie stepped closer. I'm not leaving you behind. We finished this together. Tomo didn't argue. He knew her now. She would not turn back. They suited up and stepped into the small landing pod. The pod floated toward the satellite slowly. As it got closer, the red glow pulsed once. Then again, like a heartbeat, Tomo felt a light vibration in his chest. The device inside him had activated. The pod stopped beside a small platform on the satellite. It opened with a soft hiss. Tomo and Laurie stepped out carefully. The surface of the satellite was cold and smooth. No control panels. No wires, only a small circle in the center. Tomo stepped toward it. As he came near, the circle lit up. A beam of light rose from it and scanned his body from head to toe. The light stopped at his chest. The beam changed color, turning blue. Laurie looked around. It's reading your device. Tomo nodded. It's unlocking something. The light faded. Then the metal around the circle opened, revealing a small cube. It floated gently into the air. Symbols appeared across its sides. Laurie recognized them. This is a command cube. Zenari used them long ago to store sealed knowledge. This one is ancient. Tomo reached out slowly and touched the cube. His device responded. The light on his chest turned white, and the cube began to speak in a soft voice. Signal complete. Last link found. Prepare for reveal. A second light came out from the cube and formed a large image in the air. It showed a map, not of one planet, but of the entire galaxy. Bright dots marked old battle zones, trade paths, and lost stations. A red line moved across the map slowly, like a path being followed. Tomo watched carefully. This is a trail, a path the signal has taken over time. Laurie stepped closer. It's heading toward something, toward the center of the galaxy. Suddenly, the image changed. A deep voice, calm and old, began to speak. This message is a warning. In the final war, a weapon was hidden. It was never used. Its power was locked. But over time, the lock weakened. The signal you hear is its call, not from an enemy, but from the weapon itself. It seeks to return. It seeks to wake. The cube stopped speaking. The lights faded. Tomo looked at Laurie. It's not an attack. It's a memory. The weapon was left behind, and now it's calling back the pieces of itself. Laurie's voice was soft. And your device was one of those pieces. That's why. It connected to the signal. Tomo nodded. Yes, I wasn't meant to stop it. I was meant to carry it, to understand it, maybe even to control it if needed. Laurie stared at the cube. But who built it? Tomo replied. Maybe not just one race. Maybe long ago. All races feared what war could do. So they made something strong. But they hid it. They made it remember. And now, after many years, it remembers too much. Laurie picked up the cube carefully. What do we do now? Tomo looked at the stars. We show the council. We explain everything. If this weapon is waking, then all races need to prepare together. Not with fear, but with understanding. Laurie nodded. Then let's go. Before someone else finds it and misunderstands it. They returned to the ship. The satellite dimmed behind them, now silent again. But inside Tomo, the light still glowed. It was calm, but alive. He was not just carrying a device. He was carrying a message from the past, a message that might save the future. Laurie and Tomo flew toward Earth Command Station, carrying the ancient cube and the full message from the forgotten satellite. Their ship moved quietly through the stars, the path steady and clear. Tomo sat beside Laurie, looking calm but thoughtful. The glow inside his chest device had not faded. It was still responding to the cube, as if something inside him stayed connected to the signal. As they entered the orbit of Earth Command, a message flashed on the screen. Prepare for inspection. Landing team waiting. Council meeting scheduled. Laurie looked at Tomo. They know we're coming. Let's hope they're ready to listen. Tomo gave a small nod. They may not believe us at first, but the cube will speak for itself. The ship landed gently on the command deck. A group of officers stood outside, along with two council leaders. They looked serious, no smiles, only watchful eyes. Laurie stepped out first, holding the cube. Tomel followed, his vest open just enough to show the faint white glow on his chest. One of the council leaders, a tall man named Ren, walked forward. Captain Laurie, you left your post without full approval. And this human, we have many questions for him. Laurie stayed calm. You will get your answers. But first, you must see what we found. She placed the cube on a stand. The lights on its surface began to glow again. Slowly, the map of the galaxy appeared, showing the same red path in glowing zones. The voice returned, repeating the ancient message. This message is a warning. In the final war, a weapon was hidden. It seeks to return. It seeks to wake. The room stayed silent for a few seconds. Some council members looked uneasy. Others whispered to each other. Ren frowned. A story from the past. There are many. What proof do you have that this is real? Tomel stepped forward. The device in me is part of it. It connects to the cube. I feel every signal. This is not just a story. It's alive. Ren looked at Tomel with doubt. You expect us to believe that an old signal, lost in time, is now active again and is somehow inside a human body? Tomel did not raise his voice. I did not ask to carry this. I did not build it, but it chose me. I feel its memory, not as a weapon, but as a warning. Another council member, a calm woman named Lina, spoke up. If this is true, why now? Why is the signal calling again after all these years? Laurie replied, because something changed. The cube needed to be completed, and now it is. It shows a direction, a destination. Tomel nodded. It leads to the center of the galaxy. Something is waking there. The signal is not angry, but it is growing stronger. Ren folded his arms. We cannot act on fear. If this weapon truly exists, it may already be under control. Laurie shook her head. No, if it was controlled, the signal would not reach us in parts. The device in Tomel was only one link. There may be others, scattered and forgotten. Lina looked at the cube again. If we do nothing and this signal reaches its end, what will happen? Tomel spoke slowly. We don't know. That's the danger. But I believe the weapon doesn't want to destroy. It wants to be remembered. It wants its pieces returned. Ren stepped forward. Or maybe it wants to rebuild itself and become active again. Maybe that glow inside him is not a gift, but a spark, a fuse waiting to light. Tomel looked at him calmly. Then I ask you to test me. Use your best machines. Scan my body. Check every layer. You will see I am not a threat. Laurie added. But if you wait too long, others may find the signal, and they may not use it wisely. The room fell silent again. Council members looked at one another. Some seemed unsure. Others were curious. Lina finally turned to Ren. I suggest we begin a research mission. A small team. Go where the path leads. If there is danger, we learn early. If there is peace, we protect it. Ren looked unhappy but gave a slow nod. One ship, a small team. No action unless approved. If the cube shows truth, we will act. But if this is a trap, we pull back. Tomel and Laurie looked at each other. It was not full trust, but it was a beginning. Later that day, the ship was prepared. Laurie was chosen as the mission leader. Tomel would guide the path with the cube and the signal inside him. A small team of scientists joined them. Lina gave final approval and handed the cube back to Tomel. Take care, and if something happens, send message at once. We cannot afford another lost war. Tomel bowed his head. We will be careful, but we will not turn away from the truth. The ship lifted off once again, this time not in secret, but with the full eyes of the council watching. The stars stretched ahead. The red line from the cube showed the path forward. Laurie looked at the glowing map. It feels different now, like we are not just running after something. We are walking toward an answer. Tomel placed his hand over his chest. And maybe that answer is not what we fear. Maybe it's what we forgot. A memory not of war, but of peace. Laurie smiled. Then let's find it. Together the ship turned toward the center of the galaxy. Behind them, doubt remained, but ahead, hope began to grow. The ship moved deeper into the galaxy. Days passed quietly as the team followed the red line on the map. The stars outside became fewer and farther apart. The space around them grew darker. But the light inside the cube grew stronger. Tomel sat near the front window, looking at the stars. Laurie walked over and stood beside him. Her eyes followed the same path he was watching. You feel it again? She asked. Soft-Lightable nodded yes. The signal is stronger now. Not louder, but deeper. Like a memory coming back after a long time. The cube floated above its platform. It had opened slightly. Inside it, a soft white light spun slowly, like a galaxy in miniature. The scientists watched in silence, recording everything. Even they had stopped questioning. Something about the cube made them feel calm and still as the ship neared the end of the red path. The view outside changed. A strange light shimmered in front of them. It looked like a tear in space, wide and quiet, not dangerous, just waiting. Laurie slowed the ship. This is it, the end of the signal path. The cube is pointing here. Tomal stood. We go forward. Together the ship entered the light. Everything outside turned white. Then the light faded, and they found themselves inside. A giant space station floating in the middle of nowhere. It looked old, but untouched by time. Its surface was smooth, almost like glass. A large round door opened slowly as they approached. As if it had been waiting for them, Larry guided the ship inside. The docking bay lit up with soft lights, one by one, leading the way. No guards, no machines, just silent. Seath teams stepped out of the ship. The air inside the station was clean and warm. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls. The cube in Tomal's hand pulsed with soft white light. This place knows us, Laurie said. Sir Prismil looked at the glowing floor. It knows me. They followed the lights through a long hallway. At the end was a tall chamber. In the center of the chamber stood a platform. Around it floated pieces of strange metal, each one shaped like a shard. Some were glowing, some were quiet. One piece floated directly toward Tomal, enjoying with the light on his chest. It melted into the glow, and the light grew stronger. Suddenly, a gentle voice filled the chamber. It was not a machine voice. It felt more like a memory you have. Return, the last carrier. The last echo of peace. Laurie looked around, trying to find the source. Who is speaking? The voice replied, I am the keeper. A memory of the first builders. We left this place hidden, not to protect a weapon, but to protect a dream. Tomal took a deep breath. The dream of peace, yes, said the voice. Long ago, before the war, we built something not to fight, but to remind. A memory device, a living light. It was given to many worlds, but the war broke the chain. The pieces were lost. You carry the last piece. It called to the cube, and the cube called to the rest. Tomal stepped closer to the platform. Why me? Why did the signal choose a human? The voice answered, because humanity was the last to forget and the first to hope again. The device saw that. It saw your memory was not only of pain, but also of learning. It trusted you. The scientists stood silent. None of them spoke. Even Laurie did not ask questions. The moment felt too deep for words. Tomal looked at the platform. What do we do now? The voice replied, you choose. If you wish, the pieces can be joined again. The light can shine across the stars. It will not control. It will only remind. It will send a message of peace to every world that once knew the builders. And maybe some will listen. Laurie turned to Tomal. And if we don't join them, then the memory will fade. The voice said, the cube will sleep again. The signal will end, and the galaxy will forget what it once knew. Tomal looked at his hand. The glow was steady now, not bright, not weak. Just Writhe turned to the others. This was never just about us. It was about what we could become. About remembering something better. He placed the cube on the platform. Slowly, the floating shards moved toward it. One by one, they joined together, forming a circle of light. The cube rose into the center and became part of the whole chamber filled with soft light. It touched each person in the room, but it did not burn. It felt like a memory from childhood. A quiet, warm truth, and the light spread across the galaxy. Not with fire or force, just with feeling. Stars felt it, planets felt it. Even people who didn't know why suddenly looked up and felt something they could not explain. Peace's voice spoke one last time. The light is yours. Now, protect it, share it, or let it sleep. It does not choose. You do. The light faded. The cube floated back into Tomal's hand, smaller now, but still warmer. He smiled softly. What now? Tomal smiled back. Now we go home, And tell the truth, the ship left the station. Behind them, the doorway closed, hidden again in space. But something had changed, not just in them, but in the stars. A new path had begun, one of war, but one of memory and hope.